The only marketing that will work is the one that you will actually do. And if there's marketing strategies that are the best out there and you don't use them, they won't work. So I really believe that you want to get into the energy of excitement around your marketing, possibility, creativity, and then go deeper into the strategies that attract you, that appeal to you.
Hello and welcome to Marketing Speak. I'm your host, Stephan Spencer. It is my pleasure to have Milana Leshinsky with us. Milana is a business strategist, marketing mentor, and the creator of the Marketing Mojo Method, a card deck and Coaching Genie, a revolutionary software tool that empowers coaches to deliver more value in less time. Milana came to the U.S. as a music teacher from Ukraine over 30 years ago and enjoys Latin ballroom dancing, writing music, and creating inspiring card decks. Milana, it's so great to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me, Stefan. It's my pleasure. I can't wait to see where we take the conversation, because marketing is such a big area of study and practice, and I'm excited to see what we talk about.
Yeah, me too. Me too. And we met. And you don't remember because we talked about this before the recording, but we met in 2015 when you were running or co-running JVX and the JVIC mastermind group, and that was a really cool event. So I think it was at the Hotel Irvine, if I recall correctly.
Yes,
Is
that
that
was
right?
definitely one of the locations where the event was hosted. Yes.
Yeah, so great job with that. And now we know each other through another mastermind that's completely virtual, JVMM, that's Dove's mastermind. And he's been a guest on this podcast as well. And I've had a number of fellow masterminders on this podcast over the years. So thank you for being on.
Thank you.
So let's talk about this card deck that you came up with, the Marketing Mojo Method deck, because it's taking a different angle from what I normally see in terms of course materials and workbooks and all those sorts of learning and guiding type of materials that help a marketer. This is a different kind of a thing I hadn't seen before, and I'm curious how this came about.
Yeah, I actually don't see a lot of card decks. And just to show you a card deck, for those people who are new to it, there is 44 cards in there, and each card is almost like a mini coaching session, or the whole thing could be a marketing workshop, which is exactly how I've been using it. But I've been looking for some type of a non-intimidating marketing training product to help my clients. And there's really nothing like that. And the idea came to me, after having worked with clients and teaching them how to market online. I work with coaches, life coaches, business coaches, career coaches. I've been doing this for over 20 years. And marketing is the least enjoyable thing for coaches to talk about and for people to do in the coaching space, but also in any service space, because we don't go into a business to become a marketer. We never meant to become a marketer. We go because we like to coach, because we like to cook, to do accounting, to offer massage, whatever it is we do as a solopreneur, as a service professional. Marketing is never part of the agreement that we make with ourselves. We're going to go into a business to market. No, we say we're going to go in business to help people, to transform lives, to build communities, whatever it is, right? And so marketing has always been a challenge for my clients. And it's interesting because everybody wants strategies. Just give me strategies. Just let's create a marketing plan. I'll do it. And then they don't do it. And I started, looking at that from a different perspective. In addition to being a business coach and a software company owner, I also became a certified EFT practitioner. For those who are not familiar with that, it's emotional freedom techniques where people tap on different parts of their top of their body sort of like manual acupuncture or hypnosis. It's very, metaphysical energy speak, healing. I'm not very much into woo woo, except I discovered EFT when I was having panic attacks, and it really helped me. And when I started using it with my clients during coaching sessions, talking about business, I started seeing shifts much faster. And so as a result of that, this card deck contains all the things that my clients have told me about marketing.
And by the way, I just want to say about EFT, I experienced the power of that over a decade ago now. I was in in Africa on a trip with Tony Robbins's Platinum Partnership. He wasn't on that trip, but the people who were paying him the big bucks were on the trip, and I was in that group. And we were meant to fly in an ultralight or a microlight above Victoria Falls. This is in Zambia, and this is like a hang glider with a motor attached to it, and it had a pilot, so I was behind the pilot. But this was terrifying for me because I had fear of heights, and I had fear of water. I never learned how to swim, and we were supposed to be in the Zambezi River in canoes, and there are hippos and alligator or crocodiles in that river. It's very dangerous. And so I was pretty freaked out about the whole thing. And this EFT expert, Fred Gallo, was brought on the trip to work with us if we had any kind of fear around any of the stuff that we were about to do. And the guy worked with me for about, 45 minutes. And I was able to do all that stuff.
That's amazing. Well, no amount of EFT will help you. If you were to fall into the river, into the jaws of the alligator. However, it will definitely help you alleviate any fears or anxiety around the act of whatever it is you needed to do. And
Yeah.
and I'm so glad you mentioned it, that you're familiar with EFT. A lot of people kind of, my husband personally laughs at it. Um, well, he used to laugh, I should say, but he has seen me um, tap my anxiety away or tap my anger away. If we were have a conflict and I'm just, really upset with him. And then 10 minutes later, I walk out of my office and I'm calm and pleasant to be around. So it definitely works. But when it comes to marketing, people have a lot of negative beliefs around marketing, based on our past experiences.
So, well, actually, let's talk about some of these negative beliefs about marketing.
There is a whole, what I do is I get on a call with a client. We might start working on their marketing or their business, and I ask them, how do you feel about marketing? And they'll probably say something like, oh, it is the bane of my existence. Or they'll say, I really can't stand marketing, or I really find it overwhelming. And then my next question is, tell me more. And as they're talking, they will reveal those negative beliefs. For example, they'll say, well, I really don't like being pushy. It feels like I'm being pushy, and I really don't like that being done to me, so I can't do it to others. Or they will say, I hate watching how other marketers are marketing. They're bombarding me with too many emails. I don't want to be doing that to other people. Some of the things they've said, and I have the cards in front of me, like, my niche is so crowded, I don't even know how to stand out. Like, my marketing goes unnoticed. I don't know how to get people's attention. People have said to me, well, the economy is bad right now, so nobody's buying anything. Like, if that's your belief, then your effort, your action, your behaviors are going to match that, right? So until you eliminate some of these things that you believe about marketing and what marketing represents and how it should be done, you will continue struggling with marketing. And so that's what I do. And so what I started doing is creating reframes. each card has a negative belief on one side and a positive reframe on the other side. Not just a positive reframe, but a paradigm shifting statement so that they can actually see something different. And at the bottom of each card, there's a question that will get them to think more creatively, more innovatively. Um, the way I describe it, this method and why it's called a method is it's a marketing mojo method, because instead of approaching marketing from the left side of your brain where you have to like follow formulas or learn um, Google Analytics or track your numbers or develop a step-by-step funnel, you approach it from a place of creativity and intuition. And so that gets people excited because the only marketing that will work. Do you know what I'm going to say next, Stefan?
No, I don't, but I'm intrigued.
The only marketing that will work is the one that you will actually do.
Yeah, yeah. That makes sense.
And if there's marketing strategies that are the best out there and you don't use them, they won't work. So I really believe that you want to um, get into the energy of um, excitement around your marketing, possibility, creativity, um, and then go deeper into the strategies that attract you, that appeal to you. I always say I really don't like Facebook ads. I burned myself on Facebook ads. I lost so much money, so much time. I don't understand them. I'm definitely not somebody who will sit and look through numbers, or just not that. As a former musician and somebody who values creativity and art and music, that part of my brain just doesn't want to function as well as a lot of other people who do marketing. They thrive on those structures. To me, marketing is a form of self-expression and an extension of your personality. So this card deck is really for people who love what they do but don't love marketing. And so this opens them up and helps them see that marketing can be actually a lot of fun and be a joyful part in their businesses and lives.
Well, there's a lot I enjoy about marketing, but I think I also get stuck in some non-beneficial patterns or negative beliefs. Like, for example, I seem to be avoiding getting on YouTube doing videos other than the podcast episodes. So we do a lot of shorts from the episodes. My team handles that. I don't have any problem jumping onto a podcast such as this. What I don't like doing, and I've been avoiding for years now, is creating content just, talking to the camera, walking people through all sorts of great, I don't know, processes, tools, uh, frameworks, insights that I have and stuff. And I feel like I'm hiding a bit. So maybe you could cure me with one of your cards.
Maybe more than one, but I would be asking you, like, what is it about being on video that is uncomfortable or something that you don't want to do? But I am sensing that there is some kind of a fear of visibility. I actually do have a card. It's called, you're gonna love this one. I don't know if that matches you. Can you see?
Fear of being on video. Oh, that's funny. What does it say on there? I feel nervous.
I feel nervous and self-conscious about being on video. What if I don't look or sound professional? The thought of speaking on camera makes me anxious. I don't know that that's your actual thing.
No, but it is kind of related because I do feel like I edit myself while I'm doing the recording. So if I'm recording just a solo video, I keep restating. No, I'm editing as I'm speaking and say, no, I didn't quite say that right. Now then I'm going to restate it, and then I'm going to start all over again with the whole new video because I kept screwing up that. And then I feel like, wow, this was a colossal waste of time. I really should just be in conversation with people because I'll just say stuff then.
That's absolutely okay, because what you're doing is you're saying, I need to be doing video and I want to be doing video, but this way of doing video doesn't work for me. So then the question is, what way would make you feel more comfortable, confident, put you in the flow? Because I'm the same way. I would much rather have a conversation or be interviewed like we are today than sit in front of a camera and speak and then do 17 takes and still not be happy with that. But let me read to you the back of the card. It's
Okay,
okay
great.
to be myself on video. So that's the shift. And so being on video allows me to connect with my audience in a personal and authentic way. It's a chance to show my true personality, build trust with potential clients. I don't need to be perfect. I just need to be myself, whether I appear as a teacher, storyteller, motivator, or entertainer. Nobody is looking for a polished presenter. Nobody wants a polished presenter, right? And then the question that would get you curious about the possibility is, and it's at the bottom of the card, is what topics or messages do I feel passionate about that I can share through video? Because sometimes people just don't know what to talk about, and that can slow them down as well. But when Facebook Live came out, and I no longer had to sit in front of a camera to record a video, it was a completely game changing for me because I also don't like that, stiff type of video recording. I needed to be able to say and and not have to filter or edit myself. And if my dog barked, I wouldn't panic because people don't expect perfection when they know it's live. And so it's much easier that way. And so
Do you do a lot of live streams still?
actually, no, because I do webinars and I do them on Zoom and I do mini masterminds and little collaboration meetings. So I prefer being in a conversation with a group of people. I'm a former music teacher, and to me, it's much easier to um, come in front of a group or put a group together and facilitate and teach. And I discovered that about myself years ago. And so that is my preferred method of sharing my message. I run group coaching programs, classes, events, and that feels like, yeah, that's I'm in my lane by doing that. So
Hmm.
finding your lane is very important. Knowing what your natural abilities are. Like, I've done Facebook Live, but it didn't stick enough for me to be my go-to strategy. And so, like, if you're still not sure what your ideal marketing strategy for you, you would ask yourself this question: if left to my own devices, without anybody else telling me what I need to be doing, what would be my default go-to strategy? And for me, it's teaching.
Hmm.
And so once you know that, for other people, it's networking or connecting. Some people will be like, oh yeah, I have somebody that I want to introduce you to. I have a friend who keeps doing that. Instead of teaching me or coaching me, she'll go into the mode of, I know somebody that you need to talk to. Like, that's a
Yeah,
clear connector. That's what she needs to be doing as part of her marketing.
yeah. So for you, it's teaching. How does that show up? And besides with you doing webinars and masterminds on Zoom, how does that show up in the marketing materials that you produce, in the emails that you send out, the social media posts that you put out, all the videos that you produce, everything? How is the teaching aspect being leveraged through all those different channels and modalities?
Well, you know how sometimes you receive emails from people and they are telling you a story and it's like inspirational, right?
Yep.
Now, that is a difficult thing for me to do, and I have to become very aware that I need to share a story or example because my default marketing writing style or speaking is to share something that is a lesson with a message or a moral of the, like, for me, I need to have a point. I can't just like talk about something or share a story unless it connects to something that I want them to get to. So any webinar I teach, there is a message, or I call it the big idea. Until I know what my big idea is, I can't put together a webinar or a class. Um, I do virtual summits a lot. And while I see other people doing virtual summits by simply gathering names, big names, and interviewing them, I need to have a message behind it. For example, um, I had a summit called the Scalable Coach Experience. In order to become scalable, you need 5 things. And then each day covered that, um, um, the scalability of a coaching business.
I'm curious what those 5 things are.
Well, for coaches, it's definitely one of them is having a program.
Yeah.
Another one is having an audience. Another one is having systems. Top of my head, I did the event 2 years ago.
That's pretty good, though, to just rattle off 3 of the 5 from 2 years ago. That's awesome.
I can't remember what else we did, but I'm pretty sure that it's the mindset should be another one. I think we covered it on one of the days, probably on day 5, because that's the piece where um, that's holding people back. Very much like this card deck is. I don't know if you've ever bought courses and they gave you everything you needed to do, and then you didn't do it,
Yeah, many.
right? And so, like, I recently paid a lot of money for training on a particular topic. And although I got the strategies and the tactics and the plan, the mindset and the fears were not addressed. And so I really was not very successful with that particular, I'm going to call it VIP day, because the mindset wasn't part of it. And so I've become really aware of the fact that even if you have all the strategies and somebody gives you a plan, but you have certain fears or negative beliefs around a topic, something that maybe happened to you as a child, like I was bullied as a child. So I have carried it through my life. And, until and unless you address something that you have experienced that was traumatic, it is going to hold you back in your business too. I don't want to make it, this is too bold of a claim, but I secretly believe that if you were to use my card deck and overcome all of these beliefs, negative beliefs, you would actually be on your way to heal your traumas, whatever happened to you. Because when we're marketing ourselves, all of our personal insecurities come out, right? Like this card says, I don't have enough value to offer. Well, I've seen people sell crappy products and programs. They don't have any qualms about it. They don't feel like they don't have enough value to offer, but a lot of coaches do. And so, I'm not sure I have a lot of value to offer. What if my knowledge and skills aren't enough to attract clients and help them with their needs? And on the back, it's a reminder that you're actually sitting on a gold mine. You
Yeah.
may not be aware of it, but that belief definitely comes from low self-image, low self-esteem, underappreciating, undervaluing yourself. That comes from something that was said to you as a child, or something that you experienced as a child or as a younger person. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm thinking not only will you overcome your marketing beliefs, negative beliefs around marketing, but you will also be on the way to heal whatever traumas and insecurities that you have acquired through your life experience.
Wow. It's so funny you mentioned that because my last interview on this podcast was Juliet Wright, and we ended up on a tangent. She was talking about as an 8-year-old kid being driven to church camp or driven back home or something like that. And she's just talking about her experiences and everything. And her dad says, "Wow, who put a quarter in your ear?" And that messed her up for life. It was just a smart aleck comment from her dad, but it really damaged her.
What does that even mean? I don't even know what that means. Is that like slang?
It was like a snide remark about like, wow, like who turned the on button on and forgot to turn it off.
Oh my goodness. So she was maybe too loud or too vocal or something.
Yeah, just too like sharing, just like too many things. It's like he wanted peace and quiet or something, and then she uh, felt like she was showing up as too much in life through her not just childhood but through her adulthood. One bad comment from a parent can really mess up a kid.
And kids really are sponges. They internalize things and they hold on to those things. And so it takes later therapy or EFT or hypnosis or whatever um, methodologies to undo that damage. Um,
Yeah, and it can be really like in that case he was being snarky or kind of nasty, but you could just say something that you think is a compliment, but it just doesn't compute for the kid. Like, wow, you're going to be such a heartbreaker when you grow up. It's like, oh, I'm going to break hearts. Oh no, that's awful. I don't want to hurt people. I don't want to be that kind of a person, and then they're all messed up, and you're trying to share a compliment. You got to be super careful with what you say to kids or adults for that matter, but yeah, especially kids. Yeah. And then we have to go through therapy or whatever to fix it, to heal from it. But it's all a blessing in the end. But boy, getting through that.
it's definitely, this is why I really believe that our businesses are an extension of our personality, of our life, especially if you're a
Mm-hmm.
solo professional, solopreneur, service provider. Um, you're bringing everything that has happened to you as a human, and you're bringing it into your business, and you're building your business in a way that accommodates all of those insecurities and all of those
Yeah.
fears. Um, and the opposite, if you look at people who are doing really well, and they have overcome their fears and negative beliefs, and they have become unstoppable. I'm sure that everybody has something to still work on, but it's because they're moving forward and they're overcoming, and they're very aware of it. Like, growing up in the Soviet Union, we had a fixed income, and I often heard things like, "You don't need this. We don't have this." Um, it was, I didn't feel lack, but I also never had desire to to have more than we did. I guess that would be the best way to put it. And so one might say, well, you had really negative beliefs about money. I don't know, did I? Because, as I reached $1 million in my business, I looked back and I said, huh, what happened to all those negative beliefs about money and the lack? And then I remembered that at some point early in my business, I read a book by T. Harv Eker called The Millionaire
Mm-hmm.
Mindset. And it was the first nonfiction book I read in English. Um, and I read it from cover to cover. I was so inspired. And I started, he tells you in the book, I don't know if you're familiar with that book, Stefan.
I've heard of it, but I haven't read it.
T. Harv Eker basically tells you need to love rich people, admire rich people, revere rich people versus judging them or thinking bad things about them. And so I was catching myself driving on the road, looking to the right and seeing a Ferrari, and kind of like, I'm blessing you, as opposed to like, dang it, how can he afford that car, right? Versus having feelings of resentment or judgment, I would be like, wow, he must be really smart or hardworking or something, and that probably most definitely impacted how I think about money. And it's
Mm.
actually an amazing thing to make $1 million.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I think of everything being a blessing or a miracle, and even the stuff that we don't want to have happen, that looks like a challenge or a tragedy or whatever, as a disguised blessing or a hidden blessing. And I just need to get the perspective of the bigger picture, which of course the creator has, and I don't, because I'm just a little human here. But I can, ask, pray for more guidance and insight and perspective and faith, so that I can, get more of the lessons and the messages from those challenges. And you mentioned earlier that you were bullied as a child. I'm curious to hear if you see that now as a blessing, or at least a blessing in disguise. And if so, how have you worked that blessing into your adult life and into your business?
We're still talking about marketing, right?
Yeah.
Because it's definitely part of it.
I learned this from Tony Robbins. I'm sure he got it from somebody else, but it's everything in business boils down to two things: marketing and innovation. So yeah, we're still talking about marketing.
Well, no, I'm so glad you said innovation, because that's the one thing that I teach at this point is like, to really stand out in your niche, because every niche is crowded. It's 2020, almost 2025. So every niche is crowded. How do you stand out? Well, innovation is a big part of it. So I'm so glad you mentioned that. I think,
Yeah.
I was bullied between the ages of like 7 and 14 for 7 years of my grade school. And then I was bullied so bad that I actually decided to leave school and go straight to college. There was an option to stay 2 more years in high school or to go on to whatever trade school that you chose. And I already knew that I was going to be a music teacher, a musician, and I left in 8th grade, and suddenly all bullying stopped in a new environment with new kids, with new people. And that was very confusing to me. I didn't change as a person over the course of one summer. You know, Graduated from my middle school, went to the music college, all bullying stopped. Suddenly people started liking me, talking to me first, inviting me into their group. And the way my mom explained it to me is that, these are just different kids. They're maybe more culturally inspired or advanced, and they are more into art and music and things like that. Um, but I think what it has done to me is my confidence as a musician, because I was really one of the top students in my school, in my class, and that helped me. Like, music became a source of my confidence for me. And so what happened over the years and translated into my business is I became very attuned to people's behaviors and emotions, because when you're bullied, to protect yourself, you need to kind of gauge what they are thinking about or what they are feeling or how they're acting, and what does that mean to you and to your safety, right? So I think I've become very much attuned to other people's behaviors and emotions. And that actually, so it made me more sensitive in general. Um, my kids tell me that all the time, that I'm very sensitive. Whatever that means, I think we're all sensitive in our own ways. But I think it made me also a better marketer, a better copywriter, a better teacher, a better facilitator. So everything I do through the filter of how are people feeling.
There's a term, an acronym. I don't normally hear it these days, but HSP, highly sensitive person. Are you familiar with that term?
I don't know that that would apply to me too closely, because I feel like there's a lot more to that.
Mhm.
But I'm definitely more attuned to what people are experiencing. And I typically run group coaching programs, and I see 20, 30 people, and I have to kind of hold all of their energy and create a space for everybody to feel heard and seen and accepted. And what I'm being told is that I'm very good at that. I
Mhm.
can watch people's faces, and I can see even as I teach, I immediately feel like, oh, I need to pause. I can see a few overwhelmed faces. Let me address the overwhelm before moving forward. So I'm just constantly aware of how people are experiencing my marketing, my teaching.
Well, that's really that's a superpower.
I
That's
do feel like that's what it is. Yes.
yeah.
Well, I am grateful and blessed to have that as a result of my childhood experiences. I think that's where I am enjoying, the consequences of
Yeah.
negative experiences in life.
Yeah. Well, that's goes back to what we were talking about at the beginning of this episode. Positive reframing negative stuff, beliefs, experiences, etc. That is a way to re-experience it in a better way. That being bullied as a child is actually a net positive for you because now you have the superpower that you wouldn't have had if you didn't have the experience.
Yes. I actually remember somebody looked at my emails, somebody who is not a business owner, but a good communicator, a good writer, and he edited my work. And he basically took out all the words that had any hint of emotion, just kind of leaving the factual stuff, right? And I said, what kind of marketing copy is this? This is never going to sell. Yes, I want to use the word really. Yes, I want to say fantastic instead of saying good or great. So, you know, that I write how I feel, I write how I talk, and I think that that part of copywriting as part of my marketing is really benefiting from projecting my emotion onto paper, so to speak. Right
Yeah.
now, when it comes to telling stories, that's a little different. I have become better as a storyteller, but it doesn't come naturally to me. I actually have to remind myself, oh, wait, I need to start with a story, or I need to incorporate a story into this, because storytelling holds more attention in copywriting. It lightens up whatever you're writing. So it's not as like, here are the teaching points, teaching points, teaching points. It actually makes it easier to consume, but it also is more memorable, and it appeals to the other part of your brain. Um, so I'm very aware that I need to get better at storytelling, um, and not just teach, but to inspire. And what's interesting is I never considered myself an inspirational speaker or inspirational teacher. But people were telling me, like, when you teach, it's very inspirational. And I don't know exactly what it is I do. Um, but I think if I had to guess, I would say I just really connect to the person or the people in front of me. And I really want them to succeed. And my inspirational tone or words come from that place. It's like, what else do I need to tell them to make them stop feeling afraid of marketing or launches? I have a whole card. It's called Fear of Launches, because so many people are afraid of launching. I needed to create that card because I really believe in
Oh,
launch.
tell me more about that one.
All right, let's take a pause. A card pause. All right, here it is. So fear of launches. Launching is overwhelming. I don't like being on the receiving end of launches with endless emails and deadlines, and I'm worried my launch will feel the same. Launches seem so complex and time consuming, and the pressure to make sales is really stressful. All of that is true. I've experienced this, but let's look on the back. If you start seeing launching as an opportunity to share your passion, suddenly it just changes things for you emotionally, and you connect to the idea of a launch a little differently. So launching is an opportunity to share my passion. I can create a launch strategy that feels right for my personality and skill set, focusing on providing value to my audience. I don't need to use every tactic, and can choose the ones that resonate with me and my audience. My launch can be as big or small as I want. And it's an opportunity to connect with those who will benefit from working with me. So I think the idea of a launch feels big to a lot of people. And so really creating your launch the way you want to create it is really, a mind shift that you don't have to follow like the product launch formula or video webinar. You can do whatever you want. And so the question here to open up possibilities for you and get you excited is, what aspects of launching excite me? And how can I focus on those to make the process more enjoyable? So what parts of a launch do feel exciting? Like I love webinars. I don't love um, creating a lot of like affiliate marketing stuff. And so I'm very aware of that. And I actually design my launches around my superpower, which is teaching and facilitating. I'll do webinars, I'll do little collaboration or mini masterminds. I'll invite people into a Zoom meeting. The other thing I don't do is those strategy sessions. A lot of people do them. To me, they're overwhelming. They don't leverage my natural abilities, because that means selling. Selling is not something that I love doing. This is why I got so good at marketing, so that I don't have to sell, which is funny because for a lot of coaches, sales and marketing is in the same bucket. They don't like either one. And marketing can be so creative. But yeah, I mean, fear of launches happens because you feel the pressure of making sales. When you take that pressure away and focus on doing only the things that you really enjoy, like I really love teaching, I really love doing webinars. So let me do 2 webinars instead of one. Let me host a Q&A call because that is fun. Let me do a coach-a-thon because that gives me an opportunity to coach people on the call and hopefully enroll them into the program and inspire them to join. Does that make sense?
It makes total sense. Yeah, like when I think about launches, I think about things like swipe files and email sequences, and it's like, yuck, so not fun for me. If I could just pay somebody to do all that stuff, then I will do a launch. But
With ChatGPT right now, you can create swipe copy in minutes
yeah,
as
that's
long
true.
as you're clear about what messaging you are wanting to share, and also what is it that you are teaching. If you're teaching, what is it that, like, I'm doing a 3-hour workshop next week, and then the whole January I'm doing workshops. It's the same workshop, I'm doing it 3 times. And normally I would absolutely dread the task of writing swipe file or email sequence, which is the same thing, but one is for partners and another one is for my own audience.
Yeah.
um, but once I had the workshop content developed, I just put that workshop into ChatGPT and I said, write emails that are promoting this workshop. So, no, I didn't just take it and copied it and sent it to my partners, but it gave me a place to start with. And I was like, nope,
Yeah, it's a good first draft.
it's a good first draft. It allows me to not stare at a blank page because that is the hardest.
Yeah.
And ChatGPT really analyzes your content to the point where it can pick up, like, these are the 5 things that you're going to teach, the most valuable nuggets of your workshop. So yeah, I feel like with ChatGPT, it's a whole new way of operating in launches, especially.
Now, you mentioned earlier about having needing to have a big idea before you can put something together, whether it's a virtual summit or a webinar or a course or whatever. How do you get the big idea? Do you go to ChatGPT for that? Are you doing some sort of, I don't know, meditation or relying on intuition just popping into your head? How does that work?
You just tap and you get the big idea. No, I'm kidding. I mean, that you could tap. It could be part of it. Like if you're feeling stuck, just sit and tap and think about it and start talking whatever comes to mind. Um, it definitely gonna help you arrive at some clarity. But if you're not a tapper, that's okay. I actually have a whole method for arriving at your big idea. Um, all the trainings that I do, all my programs, we spend 2 weeks um, identifying a big idea. A big idea is ultimately your trailblazing message. It's the message that will stop your ideal client in their tracks. Because just, picture somebody who is your ideal client and they get all these messages. They're bombarded with emails, advertisements, their peers, other coaches, their books. They're hearing constantly something designed to help them solve their problem. And then suddenly they hear something different and they go, whoa, I haven't thought about it this way before. That's the big idea. Because when you can create an aha moment in your potential client's mind, they automatically start seeing you as authority, trusting you more, and they're leaning in to see what does that mean and how do I implement it. Um, so I have a formula that starts the big idea messaging. To achieve X result, Y is not enough. You also need to do Z. So my big idea, for example, years ago when I was teaching coaches multiple streams of income was to be successful, to thrive as a coach. Coaching clients one-on-one is not enough. You also need to create multiple streams of income in your business. A very simple big idea. And what's cool about that is now that you know my big idea, it doesn't mean you can go and do it by yourself. You still need a coach, a mentor, a course. You still need some kind of support to make it happen, right? And so that's an example of a big idea. And we go through a whole series of exercises and questionnaires to arrive at that. Um, because especially with coaches really believe they can help anybody. I'm sure you've encountered that,
Mm-hmm.
Stephan, as somebody who is surrounded by coaches like I am probably. Coaches believe they can help anybody, and so it becomes crucial in terms of marketing capability to identify, what problem are you solving and how you're solving differently or better than anybody else, and how can you stop people in their tracks because they haven't heard this before, because they'll drop everything to register for your class to learn about that.
I wonder if to circle back on this whole thing of a positive reframe and applying that to a big idea. What if you took, let's say, a negative belief such as AI is killing the SEO industry or SEO is dead, because I'm an SEO expert and I hear all those sorts of doom and gloom naysayers talking that sort of stuff, and positively reframe that into something that becomes a big idea that I could maybe do a webinar or a course on or a mastermind or some sort of seminar or something. So what would be the big idea taking AI is killing SEO into account? What do you think?
First of all, before we get there, I just want to say, wow, I'm so impressed that you arrived at that. I actually arrived at that a little later after I started marketing my cards and using them in coaching sessions. I realized that every card, every reframe is a big idea. I did not know that when I was creating it, but you really picked up on that. For example, I have a card called The Economy is Bad Right Now, because a lot of people will say that to me, nobody's buying. And
Right.
so the big idea on the back is um, I, I create my own economy. And then there is like a whole thing about that, what that means. If my service solves a big problem, I know I can get clients.
Here's another one. I learned this from the lady who runs Money and You. I forget her name. She was a past guest on on my other podcast. I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but her wisdom nugget was that the money has not left the planet, right? So everybody is suffering. It's the economy, like blah blah blah. It's like, well, somebody's making money. money is changing hands. There's something happening because the money hasn't left the planet, and I just loved that explanation.
People are still buying stuff regardless of the economy. You may need to adjust your prices. You may need to shift your offer. But there are times when I'm thinking if I were to start my business over again, the kind of business I would start would have to do with kids. Because I remember when there was the recession of 2008, the karate school where I took my kids was as full as always. Because you can't just take your kid out of karate school if your kid is into karate
Right.
and they're passionate about it. You wouldn't want to deprive your kids. So anything where you don't want to deprive your kids, that is a um, economy sustainable business, or like you just, because parents are really protective of their kids and their well-being, mental and physical. And so, yeah, I remember I was being surprised, the karate school was full. So what was your question? AI is killing the.
Yeah. So if this idea of AI, or the negative belief, really, it's not true, but this negative belief that AI is killing the SEO industry, if that is turned into a big idea, what's the big idea? And by the way, I remember now who the lady is who started DC Cordova. Yeah, she's the Money and You lady, and yeah, it was a great episode. That's on Get Yourself Optimized on my other show.
Well, the big idea must start with a problem that you want to solve. It doesn't start
Yeah.
with the negative belief necessarily. It needs to
Mm-hmm.
start with what problem are you trying to solve? And so AI, for me, the problem was, oh gosh, I really dread writing so many emails for a launch. Like that was a problem. And, solving that problem through AI is absolutely delicious because you can do it in minutes. But here's
Right.
the problem. Then the copy sounds really generic and it doesn't have your voice. And it can be not innovative enough because it didn't come from your personal experiences or from your unique ideas, right? So it's too generic. So that's a problem, right? Because now you have poor quality copy. So the big idea might be um, to use AI in your business, you must really need to understand how to use it in a way um, that replicates your tone, personality, and unique experiences, or that reflects your personality and unique experiences. Only then will you be able to use AI successfully in your business. So then the question is, well, how do you do that? That's where you buy a course or hire a coach or a consultant who
Right.
understands how to work with AI tools, so that you don't sound generic, so you can save a lot of time, so that you can write copy that is empathetic and connects with potential clients in a way that comes from your heart. Can
Mm-hmm.
AI really write from your heart? Oh, yes, it can. Absolutely. But you have to know how to use it properly, right?
Yeah. Garbage in, garbage out, as programmers always say. Yeah. So the problem I would say for this scenario of AI supposedly killing SEO is that people are fearful because of the uncertainty. So uncertainty is the problem. There's a great deal of uncertainty in regards to how the Google algorithm works and whether Google's even going to be a thing. Is ChatGPT going to replace Google, or some sort of LLM is the replacement for Google, and we're going to be prompting instead of searching? And so all of the SEO tactics and strategies are no longer relevant. The SEO agencies feeling obsolete because, as I said, the problem is the uncertainty. It's not the same old game that we've been used to for the last 2 decades.
And then I would dig deeper and say uncertainty about what? What is it that you're trying to resolve? Are you trying to get more clients, fill your programs, sell more products? And so how does uncertainty impact you in that way? So you would need to be more specific, which is actually the answer to being more successful with AI. If you're using it for marketing material creation, you need to be more specific. You cannot be generic.
Yeah. So if I were, let's say, an agency, and I am an SEO agency owner, so this is relevant to me. If I'm trying to cope with this uncertainty and help my prospects and my clients with the uncertainty, because in an uncertain environment, they're going to move their marketing dollars away from SEO to something that's more of a sure thing, like paid search or paid social. And then my budget goes away, that my client goes away. So I need to convey that this is not, it's when people get scared is the time to be investing, right? That's classic Warren Buffett, right? So when people are fearful, get out your wallet because it's buying season.
That's why there's so many AI trainings, because as a SEO agency, um, I think the best way for you to move forward is to incorporate AI. So now you are an AI aided or guided SEO
Right.
agency. So you understand how to work with AI to improve the SEO results even more, right?
Right.
So you're not afraid of it. You are um,
Embracing it.
embracing it. Thank you. You're embracing it because it's not going to go away. Listen, 2024 has been a year of ChatGPT and AI in general. And so sometimes I ask myself, how did I used to do things before? Because I developed tools and programs and software and assessments all without using AI, just using human brain power and research and personal experience. And suddenly you can go to ChatGPT and say, hey, create an assessment for me that identify people's sales type, sales
Yeah.
ability type, and it will create a great assessment for you with scoring key and everything. We didn't have that before, but that means that now anybody and everybody can do that. So how do you stand out there? That to me is more interesting as a problem. Is like, if anybody and everybody can use AI to create tools, solutions, courses, products, programs, how do you counter that and how do you thrive in that? And I see the solution for me personally, and for coaches, is more human contact. Yes, use AI, but also now, if you create your course using AI, then it doesn't really increase the implementation or the consumption. This is where you, as a coach, come in to support your clients. So actually, I think coaches should be thriving even more right now because anybody can create content very quickly and easily. The question is, will they implement it? Will they apply it? Or will they get stuck and trapped in their mind trash?
Well, this was a very metaphysical episode. I'm glad that we went down these rabbit holes. I know we're at time here.
It's ironic because I'm not a metaphysical person at all, other than tapping. I have never done anything metaphysical, and usually in any spiritual environment, I'll be the first one to say I'm not that spiritual. Well, wait, I do tap.
Yes, you do, and that's awesome. And I'm glad we went down that detour of talking about that. So, if our listener wants to get the card deck from you, if they want to work with you in a more coaching or involved capacity than just getting your deck, where should we send them?
Yeah, if you're wanting to get a deck, marketingmojomethod.com is the website. And you can see anything else I offer there, coaching, um, tapping, if that inspired you to try it. But yes, marketingmojomethod.com.
Awesome. And then, do you offer coaching or do you offer VIP days or masterminds or anything for our listener who wants to work with you on a larger capacity?
Yep, I do have group coaching programs. And as far as VIP days, we can definitely talk to see what you're looking to do. But yes, I offer whatever, however I can support you. But the journey for me always starts with the card deck. Or if you're a coach and you're looking to do group coaching, then you might want to check out Coaching Genie, Genie like the magic lamp, Genie, coachinggenie.com. That's my coaching platform, my software that, one of those things where I needed something but couldn't find it. So I created my own. And, Coaching Genie is almost 6 years old now. And it's a group coaching platform that makes everything easier. So that's another platform, another
Yeah.
way for you to connect with me.
And you also have your personal brand website.
I do. I don't use a lot of it, but so, it's my oldest website because I've had it since 2003, Milana.com. It's there. Um, but the two biggest projects that I am working on right now is Mojo Method and Coaching Genie. Those are the two that get most of my attention nowadays.
Awesome. Well, we'll share the links in the show notes and all the stuff we talked about, all the resources will also go in there, like the T. Harv Eker book and EFT, all that, the episodes I mentioned, Fred Gallo, Dove Gordon, DC Cordova, all that. Will include all that in the show notes.
If you are looking for EFT specific to marketing, specific to business, I do have a website called milanataps.com, which
Okay,
is
cool.
dedicated specifically to EFT for sure. And you can actually see what kind of results people are getting. When I started doing it, I was shocked that it worked because I didn't know if it would work on marketing mindset. I knew it was going to work for like anxiety or fears, but in marketing and business, that was definitely a surprise to me.
Oh, that's cool. That's awesome. Well, congratulations on all your success, and it's really inspiring to see you take something that is not usually associated with marketing, such as EFT, and apply it in such a novel and useful way. So thank you for all that you do.
Thank you for having me, Stephan.
All right. And thank you, listener. Go out there and reveal some light in the world, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Meantime, have a fantastic week. I'm your host, Stephan Spencer, signing off.